Walt Tip to the Red Rage. We are back. You want to get in on the Vive broadband communication phone line 654-7627, 654-7627. We are going to talk a little NFL before we get out of here today and just, bump around the league a little bit. I've rated all 32 teams in advance. I did this weeks ago. I just haven't had a chance to get to it yet, and I planned on getting to a little bit of that today, so we'll endeavor to do that in a little bit. Before we get going here, and I'll get to Big Bad Bob in a minute, let me tell you about George Coleman Ford. Better yet, let Brandon tell you. Brandon writes, my wife and I could not be happier with our experience with this dealership. They stayed past normal business hours to accommodate our busy schedule. Chase and his team were amazing. Highly recommend this dealership. We'll be visiting again when I buy my truck. Thank you again. How about that, Ramona? Look, for 90 years, think about where you live, all right? Do you have any idea what that area looked like 90 years ago? George Coleman Ford has been doing business right for 90 years, treating people right. And that's why they keep coming back over and over and over again. Yeah, they have great deals. Yes, they never have any dealer fees or service fees. There are all sorts of reasons for people to travel to Travelers Rest to go see George Coleman Ford. But the biggest theme throughout all of it is they treat you right. They treat you fairly. They know who you are. Kurt Shockley's been the service manager there for 30 years. His wife taught first grade in that community for 30 years. They know when you go in whether you want your coffee black or whether you want popcorn when you go in for service. This is George Coleman Ford, where people come to work and they stay. They come at young ages and they stay. And all of that gets passed on to the customers. It's George Coleman Ford, Travelers Rest. Go see him. You'll thank me later. Big Bad Bob. Bob, how are you?
Thanks for letting me in. I told Ramona, which I confused Ramona. I always have to call when Paul Evenry calls or Rory calls. But Paul is coming over to bring me 2 of those bandanas that I'm going to wear over. I'm going to start wearing a mask again to protect people, other people, and myself. But they're Clemson purple and orange, those little pullovers you have. That they wear. And I'm hoping that one of them is signed by Trevor Lawrence. Maybe not. I don't know where he got it.
Anyway, okay. You're saying you hope one of the okay, gotcha.
One of the deals.
Okay.
But listen, I get so tore up at the first of the year. The first of football season when they set up these polls, which you say are good for people. But I just don't like them. The SEC is always so stacked up at the top. If Georgia lost 2 games, they would barely get out of the top 10, I think. The way everybody else wins. But you talked about this.
Honestly, the thing that we lose sight of, and look, I'm right there with you. I don't think it makes no logical sense to artificially position teams before the games begin. It's opinion based. The whole idea of the poll is that you're moving people and ranking people based on results, not on opinion. You would not run a horse race in a staggered fashion because you think this horse is the best by putting them a quarter mile out in front. You wouldn't do that. It's not acceptable in any sport. So for all those reasons, Bob, I agree with you. But, and here's the but, those polls are for all of us. That's what they're really for. The polls are for the people in the media, the fans, to popularize the sport of college football, to get people talking. That's why they do it. Because, if you didn't have it, then the interest level wouldn't be the same. People are interested in where teams are artificially placed. So I think that's why we have them.
Yeah, that's a good point. People are always like me. I just got through talking about them. But I would say that the Pac-12 probably feels like they're left out. I don't even know where they are in the polls.
I think Oregon's about 10. Southern California,
okay.
Southern California is about 14, and I think Washington is in the 20s if memory serves. I think they have 3 in the coaches poll. I think they have 3 ranked teams. I don't know how many I had.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
You had Alabama ranked 6, which I agree with you. Alabama, I don't think is number 1, but they're there. They won the national championship, and Clemson's 2, and that's odd. They don't have Ohio State second, but that's fine. I love Clemson second. But where do you have North Carolina? That's what I was wondering in your poll.
Ramona, I'm gonna go.
Oh, that's all right.
No, I'm gonna go to Ramona for that answer. She'll pull it up. I think I want to say 8th, maybe. If memory
That's
serves.
what they have. That's what they
8.
have.
Where do I have?
North Carolina, you have 8.
Okay. Yeah, so I had them 8th, and again, I did my poll months ago. So,
Yeah. Well, do you think any other ACC are worthy of the polls? And I'll take that off the air.
Yeah.
Walt, a great show.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
Paul, I'll see you in a minute. Thanks, Walt.
Thank you. We're relaying message to other listeners via the.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
I think that I had Virginia. I want to say 25th, and
25 Virginia.
and I had North Carolina 8. I think
Right.
those are the only ACC teams I ranked. But now, I did a top 40, and I had NC State and BC just outside, maybe 32 and 33, something like that, Ramona.
And Boston College, is
Yeah.
that ACC?
Yeah.
ACC.
Yeah.
33.
33.
Yeah, Boston College.
And where did I have NC State?
31.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had 2 other ACC teams just outside of it.
Yeah.
And I think both of those teams have the potential to be ranked at the end of the year. I think it's premature to say, Clemson's only going to play one ranked team. Because, first of all, they're almost certainly going to play a ranked team for the Coastal in the championship. And perhaps a highly ranked team. But I also believe that there's a real chance that one or the other, NC State or Boston College, winds up in the top 25. And I'm talking about at season's end, too. I think there's a real opportunity for that. Tess said, well, is it just this state that college players can't have their logo showing for commercials, or is that every state? No, that's really up to the schools for the most part. That's not a state initiative. And again, my expectation, and I've said this all along, I think that will change. Look, with what's going on with Brigham Young right now and other elements of this, listen, on this NIL thing, we have warned forever that we would not know the extent of the problems for 4 or 5 years. People thought I heard a lot of this kind of talk. Well, NIL was instituted, and it's like 7 days later, and see, there aren't any problems. I mean, it's just so inane, so ridiculous. The problems are going to take years to show and or to diagnose, and really, we're already seeing a number of the potential problems. I'm going to tell you what's really going to happen here. If you've been paying attention to college football for the last, 50 years or any period therein, we have watched a facilities war manifest itself. It doesn't matter how good your facilities are; they are never good enough. You're always watching all of your neighbors' facilities, and if they build an extra garage addition, you've got to do something to equal them or better them. It is a constant facilities war that goes on in college football. It never ends. Here's what happens. You wind up completing your facilities. You have some big project, zillions of dollars. You wind up completing it. By the time you complete it, you've decided it's obsolete.
Yeah.
Because it's taken so long to complete it that now it's obsolete because other people have advanced past you.
That's bad.
Right. And that's what's going on in college football. Now think about this.
Yeah.
If all of these people All of these teams from all over the country are fighting, clawing each other to death to wind up with the best facilities. Why do you think that the same thing isn't going to happen with NIL? It absolutely is. You're going to have once schools figure out loopholes or things that they can do, you're going to have other schools trying to top that. I'm going to tell you something. All of the numbers I thought were possible. I remember, brother, when this thing first started, there were naive people who were talking about, well, this is just going to be a social media thing. This won't be no. And even on social media, the opportunity to make millions of dollars existed. Now, look, is some of this fantasy talk and fantasy money? Maybe. Are some of these coaches prematurely using speculative or false figures to promote their brands through NIL? Yes. Yes. We know that some of that is going on, but that's what you would expect. Regardless, when someone says that, if a Nick Saban comes out and says, well, look, hey, this guy hasn't even played a snap, is going to make $1 million. He said, and it's certainly not due to him. It's due to the Alabama brand. Well, what do you think other coaches are going to say in response to that? They have to. What I'm telling you is, this is the next war front. That's what this is. NIL is the new facilities game, except now you're competing for players directly. It's even more direct facilities game because as loopholes are discovered, as pathways forward are discovered, or as ways are found to cheat the system, game the system, everyone else is going to do that too, and to a greater degree. And what I really wonder about is, where does this end? Where does it end? Because I think we are just scratching the surface. And what I mean by that is, I think we are absolutely headed towards creating multimillionaires all over college football. Is that what we wanted? And by the way, how does that impact the NFL game? I mean, if college kids can make all the bank they need in college, do they even need the NFL?
The NFL's going to have to come up with something.
Well, look, this is where we're headed. And it certainly could keep kids in school, because if you're going to make millions of dollars, you certainly don't need to rush to an NFL career or an NFL decision. You can keep being big man on campus and still drive your Ferrari. That's where we're headed. This, I don't think people have any idea yet how deep this is going to go. This is going to be absolute warfare, and we're basically going to bid on players. And we're going to find there is no way to police it. The NCAA has already raised their hands and says, we're out. They've already done that. They've already abdicated their responsibility. What will be the methodology by which this is policed? Look, here's a newsflash. If the policing agency has abdicated their responsibility, who's left to police it? Compliance? What do they have to comply with? What exactly does compliance need to comply with if there aren't going to be any rules? That's where we're headed. We are headed towards bidding wars for players. That's what's happening. And I say loopholes. It's not loopholes because there aren't any rules governing it. We had states initiate laws. The NCAA, when they realized they couldn't coerce Congress into acting, and that the laws legally trumped their position, the NCAA just raised their hands and said, okay, well, the rest of you are just free to do whatever you want. That's what they did. That actually happened. So how exactly do you think, what will the control be? There's no upside limit. There's no $2 million max. There's no upside limit. What will the control be? How are you going to control any element of this? Furthermore, who will it be controlling it, since the policing agency has essentially stepped down? Honestly, we sit here today on August 13th. We are completely naive as to the damage that is going to be inflicted on what was allegedly amateur athleticism. It is going to be completely out of control. You know, you like what happened in the old Southwest Conference? It's back. It's back, and now it's all college football. You are basically going to have a feeding frenzy free-for-all. That's what you're going to have. And people are going to be finding ways to circumvent whatever rules they think there are. But basically, the real reason they can circumvent it is, listen now, there are no rules. Walt Diptula, Road Rage, quick break.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Are you transitioning your little one to a big kid bed? Local mattress manufacturer Engineered Sleep now offers a mattress designed specifically for the kids. Engineered Sleep makes mattress shopping easy, whether you're online or in their showroom. Every local mattress order is delivered to your house, comes with a 60-night sleep trial, and is set up for free. Buy local and direct from the manufacturer. Visit engineeredsleep.com for more info. Make sure your little one sleeps like a lamb and rises like a tiger.
Summer is winding down, but not our killer savings for outdoor furniture at the Craft Stove Store and Patio. Now is the perfect time to update your outdoor space with patio furniture, where we pay the tax. Choose from Topatone, Summer Classics, Hanamit, Lloyd Flanders, Brizesta, and Palm Springs Rattan outdoor furniture. Hurry! Shop and save now at the Craft Stove Store and Patio, located at 3002 Wade Hampton Boulevard. Check them out online at craftstovestore.com.
Craft Stove Store and Patio.
What's under your home can get into your home. A sealed crawl space keeps out moisture, mold, and pests. Canty Foundation Specialist is your local trusted expert in crawl space sealing. Call us today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Call the local experts for a free estimate. Call Canty Foundation Specialist at 864-403-5263 and ask about transferable warranties and available financing. That's 864-403-5263 or online at cantycanfixit.com.
Collision, dent, and glass repairs. With a full-service mechanic on staff, you'll find all of that at the George Coleman Ford Collision Center. No matter the make or model, your vehicle will get the same attention all George Coleman Ford customers receive. See for yourself on their online reviews with a 100% guarantee and no hidden fees. Think about the George Coleman Ford Collision Center if you're in an accident, a hailstorm, or suffer a minor dent. Call 610-2655.
What y'all asked for is here. One day, all day GA passes for Night in the Country Carolinas, presented by Ingles Markets. All day, one-of-a-kind festival experiences. All night live music featuring Miranda Lambert, Old Dominion, Chris Young, and more. Get yours at any Ingles location and save $15. This is your next great country tradition. August 26th through 28th at Tryon Resort. Details at nightinthecountry.org.
My grandpa's blood sugar was over 500, but the health care coaches came to his house and told him how to be healthy.
That's right. It dropped to normal in just 10 days, and I put down my cane.
Now he has more energy to play with me.
If you or your grandpa have symptoms of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, or IBS, take the Health Dare. Our coaching team will do all the work. Book your free consultation at idareme.com. That's idareme.com.
I dare you.
Get the edge at Tri-County in the top 1% nationwide for successful transfers. Training today's technology for tomorrow's workforce. Tri-County Technical College is now registering for exciting careers as Cisco Network Administrators and Computer Technicians. You can learn more at tctc.edu/CIT. Tri-County Technical College offers you the opportunity to gain the skills employers are looking for in today's workforce. Get the edge today at tctc.edu/CIT.
If you're looking for a great set of tires, look no further than Pendleton Tire Company. They're now proud to offer exceptional tires by Yokohama. Remember when your car was new? Well, the Yokohama Avid Ascend LX will give your car that new car feel, quiet and comfortable. Combine that with the exceptional service you'll receive from Pendleton Tire Company, and you've got a winning combination. Call Joey or Zach today at 646-3694 or check them out at PendletonTire.com.
Covering our bases on 3 great signals. 105.5, 97.5, and AM 1560. We are The Roar.
Can you understand me? Baby, don't you hand me a line. Although it doesn't matter, you and me got plenty of time. There's nobody in the future, so baby, let me hand you my love. Oh, no step for you to dance to, so slip your hand inside of my glove.
Walt up to the Red Rage. We are back. You want in on the Vibe broadband? So you can actually get in. People have complained you can't get in. Lines have been pretty much jammed the last 3 weeks, but you can get in right now. You got carte blanche, 654-7627 if you want in. Texter 505 says richest boosters equals richest schools in regards to players. That's Eric, actually. He says, thanks, Eric. Yeah. And Texter 230 says, well, it's capitalism at its finest. Yeah, but is that what we wanted college athletics to be? And with no checks and balances? I guess the immediate question I have about the entire thing, and I guess I've had this question all along, is, I'm sorry, who's controlling any element of this? What are the rules governing any element of this? Because to my way of thinking, the answer to the first is nobody, and the answer to the second is none. Again, compliance. The very nature of compliance implies rules. You have to comply with the existing rules. Hence, you have compliance departments whose function is to guarantee that people under their umbrella, players, etc., comply to the rules. If you're not going to have any rules regarding NIL, then what exactly is the role of compliance? Because initially I said, well, the NCAA is dumping it all on compliance. But if there are no rules, then what's the role of compliance? You know, the NCAA added that little caveat at the end of them going no mas, Roberto Duran. They added a little caveat that, but you can't use it to recruit. Oh, really? Really? So you've abdicated responsibility. You're completely neutered. Nobody respects you. No one believes in your authority. Nobody believes in your authority. Therefore, what will be your control over what's about to unfold? The answer is there isn't going to be any. And if there isn't going to be any, and we have a total free-for-all, then we are going to have, again, I can't even say rule breakers. BYU's not breaking any rules. There are no rules. It's you do what you want to do. The next guy does what he wants to do. And where is it going to stop? Where exactly is it going to stop? I mean, it's astonishing. It's absolutely astonishing what's unfolding in college football. And I don't see any end to it. I see it exploding in out-of-control fashion. I think the biggest names in college football are going to make $5 million more. I don't know what the break on it is. And now that boosters can be involved, boosters, the NCAA spent eternity trying to eliminate the role of boosters in influencing college athletics. Now boosters are okay. So in other words, we have nothing but a free-for-all. That is exactly what's coming. So to the naive who thought that this was going to be nothing, that this really isn't that big a deal, oh no, it's going to be an enormous deal. It's going to be an enormous deal. And how it plays out and who it benefits most, I don't know. The person with the most money. It benefits the booster with the most money. If T. Boone Pickens was still around, Oklahoma State would be your national champion every year. They would have overcome that song, Ramona. They would have bought all the players that they needed to. They would have overcome.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah, they would have overcome that hideous song. Badger Mike says, he signed it, Ron Meyer. He says, why couldn't they have instituted this in my day? Sincerely, Ron Meyer. For those of you who don't know who Ron Meyer is or was, Ron Meyer was the coach at the SMU Ponies at the time that the death penalty was instituted. But I just wonder, normally, I mean, outside of the BCS and now the college football playoff, more specifically, normally outside the reign of the college football playoff, when you run something, you have rules. You have written rules that you adhere to and that people under that umbrella must abide by. In the NCAA's case, there are no rules here. They went full-fledged Roberto Duran, raised their hands and said, no mas, we're out of it. When they realized they could not control any element. When they begged Congress and Congress said, nope, get out. When they tried to get a national policy instituted, same deal. And then and when they realized that state law actually trumped their power, they knew they were screwed if Congress didn't intervene. Congress didn't intervene, and that's when the NCAA at the last minute said, okay, we see here we're outnumbered. We actually don't have any power. So they gave up. Texas said Texas A&M has boosters with unlimited checkbooks. Texas A&M is probably the richest school in America. So if it's who has the most money, but again, this could be, to my way of thinking, this could just be an individual. Not even a school, not even their whole list of wealthy boosters. What about Stanford? Stanford has incredibly wealthy people connected with that program, alum all over America. Is Stanford now going to become a threat to win a college football national championship because they have a ton of money? I don't know, or could have now that the coffers can be opened. I just think we are headed towards a period in college football the likes of which we have never seen before, and I think this thing just happened. This didn't happen 2 years ago. This just happened. We have quarterbacks who aren't even named the starter allegedly making $1 million already. We have Mormon institutions who are doing whatever they want. One, BYU, saying that, hey, this isn't against our laws. There are no governing laws. There is no uniform law across 50 states that governs any of this mess. Nothing. Texas said, so how long before college athletes are getting arrested for tax evasion and fraud? Not long. He put an LOL on the end of it, but not long. No, it's going to happen. That's going to happen. You put $2 million in the hands of some unsuspecting 20-year-old, and I hate to use Fred Davis as an example, but I'm going to. I mean, that, drove 115 miles an hour. And he's not alone. That's happening all over America. We're talking about a level of youthful immaturity. What do those kids actually know about accountants and the IRS and about suddenly having $2 million in their hands? What does Bryce Young, who hasn't played a meaningful snap in Alabama yet, know about having $1 million in his hands before he ever plays? What does he know about what the requirements are? Who's going to tell him? Who's going to oversee it? By the way, who's going to oversee all of that? Who's going to oversee that all these athletes, all these 18 to 22-year-olds who are suddenly making this mad jack, who is going to oversee that they make some accounting of it? Because newsflash, look, we have the nouveau rich, Ramona. That's what we have. We have the nouveau. We have the nouveau rich, and who will be in charge of making sure that the youthful nouveau rich are paying their taxes on this money? Because trust me, when Uncle Sam starts hearing that Bryce Young, the quarterback who really hasn't played at Alabama, is already going to be making $1 million, they want theirs. They don't care at all. And by the way, they're the one policing agency in this whole deal who actually has teeth. The SCA certainly doesn't have any teeth, but the one policing agency that does have teeth, that'd be the IRS. And they don't care if you're 18 or 19 or 20. Right. If you're making millions of dollars, they want to know you. They want to get to know you. Bryce Young, if he's figured this out, Bryce Young probably hates the fact that Saban went public and said he's making $1 million.
Yeah, he probably said, "Oh, I was going to wait for you to find that out."
By the way, especially if he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He can have trouble for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, that's bad.
Especially if that's a false thing. If he actually isn't making $1 million, that would not be good in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. I think we are headed for absolute madness in college athletics. I just don't see how it's going to be reined in. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, we're going to go from a period where an 18 to 22-year-old was having all of his needs basically taken care of through the scholarship path and everything else, and getting an education and all of that coaching and training, which would have cost a fortune. The true value of what an athletic scholarship actually was, which people never want to talk about, to it, none of it mattering anymore because the guys at the top of the food chain are going to be making millions and millions of dollars. I don't know. I don't know. Texas says, I own a small business, is very happy with just making $500K a year. Well, that's pretty good. And the IRS knows my favorite ice cream, he says.
Yeah, I can see it now. How you doing there? Would you like a drink? Would you like some ice cream? Well, let's have a talk.
That's right. Right. And so, yeah, this is definitely going to be a big-time issue. Drew gives you the conventional rich people don't pay taxes. Well, you know what? These rich people are going to, because they're not corporate executives. They don't have high-priced accounting firms. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know the loopholes.
Right, they don't know the loopholes and how to.
That's even worse.
Right, they're 19-year-olds who fought with their girlfriend last night and drove 120 miles an hour and drove over somebody's mailbox as a result. You know, that's where we are, and suddenly those individuals are going to have millions of dollars in their hands. I just think I don't know how you're going to check this at all. I think we are headed at warp speed, and I think the naive amongst us think that this is nothing. Oh, no, it's not nothing. Just wait and see. Stick around for the next 3 or 4 years, and you'll find out just what an unmitigated disaster this is. Quick break.
Granger Nissan of Anderson knows cars and wants to help you know yours. Right now is a great time to see the value of your car or trade in for an upgrade. With selections from Altimas to Titans, see what Granger Nissan has in store for you and your family to make new memories. Stop by Granger Nissan of Anderson at 3510 Clemson Boulevard, only 25 miles from Greenville, and always online at GrangerNissanofAnderson.com.
Anderson County is a great place to live and work, play, and worship. Samantha Porter, the Anderson County environmental educator, reminds all residents to recycle used motor and cooking oil at Anderson County Convenience Centers. You can also bring your used oil and gas mixtures to the King David, Mance Jolly, and Whitefield sites. Tires may be recycled at the Materials Recovery Facility in Belton. If you have any questions, please call 260-1001 in regard to recycling and proper waste disposal.
If you've got unwanted visitors in your home or business, Clark's Termite and Pest Control stops them dead. We are talking about termites, mosquitoes, mice, and rats, bed bugs, fire ants, and all those other critters that just won't leave. Alongside delivering outstanding results, we make the process simple and stress-free. And that begins with you getting a free estimate. Call us at 864-233-2847 or visit us at clarkspests.com. That's clarkspests.com for your free quote today.
In 2007, Marine First Lieutenant Travis Mannion was killed in Iraq after saving his wounded teammates. Travis's legacy lives on through the 5 words he spoke before leaving for his final deployment. If not me, then who? Words that today fuel the spirit of Travis Mannion Foundation. Words that live in veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians who go out of their way to find a way, who help others with the help of others, who bounce back after each setback, who make good on good intentions. Through Travis Mannion Foundation, if not me, then who, are words that can live in you too. Show the world what your character is made of, because character is invisible until it's not. Find out how you can strengthen the character of your community alongside empowered veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians at TravisMannion.org. That's TravisMannion.org.
Since 1917, Harbin Lumber Company has been a top lumber and building supplier in the industry. Their number one asset is their employees, people who are dedicated to providing quality building products and contractor services. People just like you, working to grow and be a part of the community. From construction projects to large remodeling jobs, see the hardworking folks people have entrusted for nearly 100 years. Harbin Lumber Company, serving South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina, and online at harbinlumber.com.
The countdown is on. 22 days until Clemson Tigers football. Brought to you by Toyota of Easley, where our name means a great deal.
Out to Davison, and he pitched it back to Pickett. Going to throw a flea flicker down the middle of the field, and it's picked off. A great pick made by Andrew Booth.
Catch all the action right here on the home for Clemson Athletics. We are 105.5 and 97.5 The Roar, where every day is game day.
Whether it's new or pre-owned, service, parts, or collision, George Coleman Ford, family-owned for over 90 years, sets the bar for customer satisfaction. Come in today to order your new vehicle from George Coleman Ford and save big. Get extra incentives, saving you money on that new Ford you've always wanted. From the top-selling F-150 to the ageless Mustang to the reintroduced Bronco, George Coleman Ford is the upstate's Ford leader for customer satisfaction. Order your new George Coleman Ford today and save.
Everybody ready to hit the road? We want to get to the stadium in plenty of time to set up and tailgate.
Honey, the toilet is backed up again!
You're not missing this game.
Dad, I'm ready to go. Mom, Chad is splashing around the water.
Hello, Roto-Rooter. My family and I are on the way out the door and our toilet is backed up.
Even on game day, Roto-Rooter has you covered. Call 288-7686. Game day and everyday touchdown.
Clemson fans know that teamwork is the key to a big win. At Hood Construction, their cohesive team of nearly 100 employees are committed to working together to make each commercial construction project a success. When they're not working hard in the office and in the field, you might find them leading an association committee, volunteering at a local charity event, or shucking some oysters at their annual Low Country Boil. They are Hood Construction. They're proud of what they do, and it shows. Visit them at hoodconstruction.com to learn more. That's hoodconstruction.com.
We've got sports covered in Greenville. 105.5 The Roar.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do. How can I change things that I feel, if I could, baby, I'd give you my world. Happy night when you won't take it from me. You can go your own way.
Walt Tip to the Red Rage. Jimmy and Fountain says NCAA says it can't be used as a recruiting tool. So does that mean the Florida schools won't be able to mention what Florida, or to mention that Florida doesn't have state taxes? I don't see how that they wouldn't be able to mention that. Again, I know that that's what the NCAA said. I don't understand for the life of me how they plan on controlling, how a organization that is as toothless as this NCAA is plans on enforcing anything. Now, again, they abdicated their responsibility. The only thing they said is that is the thing that Jimmy just mentioned. He said, as they were going out the door, they said, "Oh, you can do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You're free to do whatever you want, but just don't use it as a recruiting tool." That's what they said. Okay, why?
That's the one thing they're going
Right.
to use it
Well,
for.
right, because that's what the whole thing is about. That's
what.
Right, that's what the whole that's what the whole stinking thing is about. And my response to them, to that line, would be, why would we care what you think? You know, because that's what everyone says to them now. You know, everyone says to the NCAA now, why would we care what you think? North Carolina was allegedly running a bogus academic program and funneling athletes into African American studies classes. And North Carolina told the NCAA, it's none of your business. Stay out of our face. And the NCAA, they puffed out their chest a little bit for a minute and they said, oh, yeah? Well, let us tell you a thing or two. And North Carolina went right up to the line and said, don't cross this line or we will kick the living crap out of you. And the NCAA retreated back into the dark crevices from whence they came. And so that's the truth about this NCAA. This is the most toothless NCAA. Let me tell you something. You want to know where it all went downhill for the NCAA? It all went downhill when the NCAA decided no more death penalties. The NCAA, in their infinite wisdom, decided that the punitive findings against SMU were just too difficult for any school to overcome. And from that point on, they've gotten softer and softer and softer to the point now where they are, they're the Pillsbury Doughboy now. Nobody cares. Look, the Pillsbury Doughboy can make whatever threats he wants.
Oh, can you?
Right. The Pillsbury Doughboy can make whatever threats he wants. Nobody cares because you're the Pillsbury Doughboy and we will step on your face and then you'll be a pancake. You won't be the Pillsbury Doughboy anymore.
Can you see the Pillsbury Doughboy standing there making threats?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the NCAA has done. That's what the NCAA has done. I mean, what exactly does that mean? As they went out the door, they said it can't be used as a recruiting tool. Hey, geniuses, the whole friggin' thing is a recruiting tool. That's what it's all about. That's the only thing there is. And how? And again, the question is to the Pillsbury Doughboy, Mark Emmer and staff, what are you going to do to stop it? Okay, you can't use this recruiting tool. Okay, who says? You? We don't care what you think.
Well, yeah, they're going away. They're saying, don't worry, we're not doing anything. Why would anybody ever listen to them again?
Right, nobody cares what they think. Nobody. So there's no way around it. And by the way, a football coach just wrote me and wrote, going to be a creative circus with lots of monkeys, and said NCAA is a joke. A football coach just wrote me that.
Wow.
Again, that's where we are. That's where we are. And I just don't know. I don't know how you're controlling any stinking element of it? And the answer is you're not. And the whole thing is a recruiting tool. I mean, you can't use it as a recruiting tool. Oh no, those millions of dollars. I mean, I gotta wait for Ramona to get off the phone because this stuff is just priceless. Hey, Ramona. Okay, so the NCAA's one caveat, right, is that you allegedly can't use it as a recruiting tool. Okay,
correct.
Okay, then help me with this. What exactly was Nick Saban doing when he said, look, hey, look, we got a kid who hasn't even played yet, and we don't even know if he's gonna play. I haven't even named him the starter, and he's already poised to make $1 million, and that's based on our brand. Don't get it twisted. It's not that kid. We don't care about him at all. It's based on our brand that he's going to be paid $1 million. I'm sorry. So that isn't being used as a recruiting tool?
That's exactly what he's doing in that statement.
Right. It's
especially when he mentions their brand.
Exactly. It's as obvious a recruiting tactic as can possibly be. So where are you, NCAA? Since that was the only thing you couldn't do, the biggest name in all of college athletics stands at a podium and tells people, hey, man, I got a scrub who's not, because basically that's what he said. I've got a scrub who's going to make $1 million, hasn't even played yet. I haven't even decided if we're going to start him yet. But that's all because of our brand, not his talent.
Yeah, he said everything but come to the school.
Right. Exactly. So already the NCAA, just a completely toothless organization, has been rendered even more toothless by the biggest name in the sport, who basically said after the NCAA said that, I don't care what they think. We're absolutely using this as a recruiting tool. So if
why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So if that was the last bastion, if that was the hill that the NCAA was going to make their stand on, have they not failed miserably already in that regard, in that endeavor? Of course they have. It's a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. And the NCAA has zero control over anything. Let me get to the Vibe Broadband Communication phone line. Scotty in Seneca, Georgia, Jeff, you guys are up first. Scotty, how are you?
I'm blessed. How you doing, Mr. Walt?
Good, Scotty. I appreciate you getting in.
I got to tell you a true story, Mr. Walt.
Yeah.
I was up in Minneapolis, and Minneapolis has one of them lakes called Lake Minnetonka. It's like Lake Kiwi. Mm-hmm. And instead of millionaires, they're billionaires. So it's hard to find any place to park because they own all the property. So me and my wife find a place to park. We pull over. We get 100 yards down the driveway. What name you think I see on the box? Mailbox. Pillsbury. I say, Mama, come on. Let's turn around. I say, Mama, come on. Let's turn around. We're not talking millionaire. We're talking million. I said, Mama. She's from Thailand. She don't care. Just don't knock on the door. See if we can preach in the backyard. I'm like, Mama, if we don't turn around, we're going to jail. And I'm like, you're looking at somebody who's afraid of the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Did he just say she's from Thailand? She don't care? Just out of curiosity, Scotty, we always expound where we don't want to go. Just out of curiosity, Scotty, what were you doing there? Selling magazine subscriptions? You what?
No, she was fun. She went from Thailand to Laos and got sponsored by a church to come to America. That's where I met her.
Okay, I didn't ask that. I asked
Minnesota.
No, I asked what were you doing?
No, I didn't.
What were you doing?
We're trying to go fishing at Lake Minnetonka.
Oh.
Minnesota.
And he parked in somebody's the mansion in the driveway didn't give it away.
Yeah, he parked in the billionaire's driveway.
Yeah. Well, there's a mansion, and then there's like the butler's house, maid house, all those little houses right
in the front.
Like, no. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, well, this don't look good.
get arrested.
That's when the armed guards came running out.
Or the Dobermans.
Yeah, that's when the Dobermans, the armed guards came running out, and the gate sealed behind them.
Oh, yeah, that would be bad. You couldn't leave. That would be bad.
I didn't wait for it to get that far.
Yeah.
I knew I was like, time to go. They just don't fit my financial class,
yeah, mine neither. All right, Scotty. Scotty is afraid of
Thank you,
Pillsbury to
Michael.
win. Thank you, Scotty.
He's mean.
Yeah, he is mean. He's mean. George and Jeff. Jeff, how are you?
Walt, how are you, sir?
Good, Jeff. Appreciate you getting in.
Yeah, man. I wanted to get on some of this NIL, and I was kind of thinking about it, and I feel like it could be a effect to not just college football specifically, but how in baseball how they have like 37 rounds or 182 rounds, whatever it is. I'm just kind of wondering, like, what? Not only football, but is this not just going to affect football, but baseball, potentially, like I said, basketball? Like, are these kids not even going to want to go to college anymore if they get a deal right off the bat with Nike, right out of college? They can sit for 2 years and then go to the pros. Like, I really feel like pro sports are going to have to get involved and form, as much as I don't want to say it, but they're going to have to form some type of coalition or union and step up and be the be-all, end-all with all this, because if they don't, it's going to get out of control.
Well, and think about this. You could have companies suing athletes who don't, young athletes who they don't feel met the terms of whatever contractual deal they signed on to. For example, a player who decides to sit out, like you just suggested, or a player who decides to transfer and now is no longer worth that type of money to the company. I don't know. I mean, there are so many pitfalls and so many pathways off of this that there's nobody on earth who has any idea where this is going to go and how big a circus this is going to be.
Right. I agree with that. And, I mean, I'll use LeBron James for an example. This kid was getting so much publicity at the age of 15, 16 years old, and you had this NIL deal back in the early 2000s or late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. He's already a multi-millionaire before he even steps foot in the basketball arena.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I don't necessarily think, I guess it's really ultimately going to come down to the player.
And Jeff, think about that, because Bryce Young, who by comparison to LeBron James's celebrity was a complete unknown, is already going to make $1 million before he plays. Yeah, what would LeBron James, had he gone to college, been worth? What would he have been worth? And furthermore, How does this stop at college?
Yeah, and here's my last question. Now I'll let you think about.
Does this go to high school next?
So what happens if, again, we'll use LeBron James as an example, okay? What happens if somebody comes out and offers this guy, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what the NBA max rookie deal is now, maybe 10, 20 million for a top 5 pick? I don't know. But let's just say Nike comes out and says, you know what, you're the next generation to an 18-year-old. We're going to pay you $50 million right now. Yeah. And that breaks all NBA protocol, breaks everything the NBA has ever been thought upon. What happens then? And I'll take it off air, Walt.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Well, again, I think that sometimes we also bring up extreme examples, but the bottom line is that we have entered the realm of the great unknown, and we have done so without a policing agency. We have done so without a policing agency that has any authority over anything. And we think that there aren't going to be issues? Okay. Well, we're going to have mad bidding wars for players, the bottom line, in my estimation. And by the way, you also have a free one-time transfer portal. How do you add that in? Quick break.
Broadcasting live from the Priority One Security Studios, WCCP 105.5, Clemson, Greenville, Anderson, WAHT 1560 Cowpens, 97.5 Spartanburg, the Upstate's #1 choice for sports. We are the Roar.
What y'all asked for is here. One day, all day GA passes for Night in the Country Carolinas, presented by Ingles Markets. All day, one-of-a-kind festival experiences. All night live music featuring Miranda Lambert, Old Dominion, Chris Young, and more. Get yours at any Ingles location and save $15. This is your next great country tradition. August 26th through 28th at Tryon Resort. Details at nightinthecountry.org.
Folks, summer is here, and there's no better way to kick off summer than a trip to Elkmont, featuring outdoor gear, clothing, and shoes from great brands like Patagonia, Free Fly, Bog Bags, On Running, Birkenstock, Hey Dudes, Ray-Ban, and Costa Sunglasses, Eno Hammocks, Innova Disc Golf, Wilderness System Kayaks, boat boards, and so much more. Elkmont has the brands you love. And when you spend $100 at Elkmont, you get a buy one, get one half off deal at Elkmont's Tap Room. Where else can you have a great meal, quench your thirst with a cold craft beer, and shop for anything from kayaks and lifestyle clothing to home goods and jewelry? With 2 convenient locations to serve you, why not stop by? Located in Powdersville next to Dunkin' Donuts on Highway 153, and in Clemson at 93 exit on Highway 123. And remember, there's something for everyone at Elkmont. Go Tigers!
Celebrate Anderson Sunday, September 5th, as John Michael Montgomery comes to the Anderson Sports and Entertainment Center Amphitheater. Celebrate the Kids Fun Zone from 1 to 5. Then gates open at 5 with free parking, admission, fireworks, and John Michael Montgomery in concert. Celebrate Anderson at the Anderson Sports and Entertainment Center Amphitheater. Celebrate Anderson September 5th with the T.L. Hanna Jazz Band, Easton Goen, and John Michael Montgomery.
If you have been injured in a car, motorcycle, or boating accident, it's time to call Nick Lavery, Clemson's local attorney, to evaluate your case. The consult